Now let's talk about some displays of categorical variables. There's very limited numbers of ways to display categorical variable. There are tables and there's two types of graphs, pie graphs or bar graphs, also known as pie charts, bar charts. So let's take a look at the tables first of all. The first table shows the number of babies born on each day of the week in the U.S. in 2005. So the variable is the day of the week on which a birth occurred. The values of the variable, okay, so this is the variable, is the day. So the day of the birth. These are all the possible values of the variables, which are the 7 days of the weeks. Over here is how many times each birth occurs. So this is a distribution. This is a frequency distribution. Of course, we can call that a frequency table. And it tells how many in each category. So we call those counts. Like we count how many are in each category. Those are counts. And I probably ought to write that so it looks a little more like a C here. Now the other table is called a relative frequency table, or a relative frequency distribution. A relative frequency distribution. And what the relative frequency distribution tells us is the percent in each category. So you notice here, percent tells the percent in each category. Once again, we see that this is a distribution because the variable is type of spam, and the values of the variable are the different types of email spam that you can get, or the topics of the email spam. Adult, which I assume is like pornographic type spam, financial, health, internet, leisure products, scams, and other. Now I want you to notice there's some question marks here, and I wanted to put that there just to help you realize that those percentages must add up to 100%. So these, I've already added these turn out to be 93%. So this question mark has to be 7%. Now sometimes you'll have things where you'll have decimal percents like 93.4% and so forth like that, or 20.1%. And sometimes because of rounding, when you add them up, they'll add up to 99 or 100, or they'll be really close, or 101. They'll be close to 100%, but not quite because of the rounding. But it should add up to 100%. So those are the two types of tables we can use to display a distribution of categorical data. The two types of graphs are a pie chart, okay, so that, you know, a type where you have the categories are the wedges of the pie. And those are best when you have a smaller number of categories. And they give you kind of a big picture look at how the data breaks down into kind of fractions of a pie. Bar charts, okay, so we're talking about something like this where each bar represents the amount of data in the category, something like this. These are a little more versatile, and they're especially good for comparison. And we'll be looking at some examples of that. We'll probably be rarely using pie charts in this course. Bar graphs are just a lot more useful, and they're easier to sketch. So if you need to make a quick graph by hand, it's a whole lot easier to make a bar graph than a pie chart.